All right, welcome everyone. I'm going to go over one thing that I'm just going to start doing is making these videos, and I'm going to try to go over some of this. I'm definitely going to include everything that I talk about in the description below and down below in this post, and then also you could be watching this on Facebook or YouTube, but I will be putting that all below. Again, my name is Ruth. I am an autism strategist, and today the topic that we're going to be talking about is share of cost. If you know what that term is, you may be in the thick of that as well, but basically we're going to be discussing medically needy is share of cost Medicaid. And if your child is able to get Medicaid, well, not able, let me rephrase that. If your child has a diagnosis as such as mine, he is considered disabled. And yes, he is a qualifying candidate for Medicaid, no matter your income. And it is a process, and we're going to go through that process together. And hopefully I can shed some light on this, because I have had to call many people and speak with many representatives to be able to put this information together, because it is not in a pamphlet and it is not given. But I am going to be sharing the PDFs that the state have shared with me, and only way you can find these is via being emailed. So I am going to share that with you. Okay, so this is our topic. So in here, we're going to be talking about, we're going to go a short introduction about who the autism strategist and what we do, the primary goals. We're going to break it down, take what the next steps are, and okay. So as an autism strategist, we are empowering parents and caregivers information by different strategies that will not only help your family now, but also help you later. We're in the thick of it now. You know, we need these services now. How do we get through the now so we can also, and then also planning for the future, because it's very important as well. Autism is a marathon, pretty much like on a roller coaster. So we need to make sure that we're staying focused and being present now, but also being proactive for the future. So the primary goals for this is definitely going to be talking about that needy, medically needy, and it is share cost Medicaid. Okay, it is a share cost Medicaid. If you have that in there and the access, and we're going to talk about that too, it is Medicaid. What is it? We're going to dive deep into what it is. There's two ways to bill it. We're going to talk about that because yeah, when we get there, I'll give you a little ad lib on that too. And then how to bill it. And then next steps after that. So medically needy is share cost Medicaid. And this, what you're seeing on the screen here, I'm not going to read it verbatim, and I'm going to include this. This comes from the general Medicaid policy that was just passed in the state of Florida in August. It came out before August, but it came in effect in August of 2022. And this is where it reads in section 2.7.2, medically needed programs. Notice here, it is a month-to-month, but you're not eligible for any Medicaid until your share cost is met. So this is why I'm making this video, so people will be able to understand this a little bit more. So Department of Children and Family, DCF, determines the eligibility, and it's because our income is doesn't fall within the parameters, and but his diagnosis, his disability does warrant him for Medicaid. Okay. So medically needy programs are for people that have disabilities. So under this, you get enrolled in that to the type of coverage, and I'm going to show you what that looks like on the screen too. In just a moment, I'm going to show you what that looks like. And then medically needy, your share cost. Yes, that means you have to meet that share cost. So whatever they deem that they think that you can meet every month, or that you have to meet every month, yes, that is what you're going to have to do. But there are grants out there, and we will talk about that, not in this video, but I will touch on it, and then I will make different videos for those grants, because those are a process in themselves. So the grants and scholarships that can help pay for the share cost. So don't be overwhelmed when you get your number of share cost. There are other programs out there that I can help you tap into to be able to get that. Again, it's a process. All of this is a process. I cannot guarantee this is going to be quick. It's a process. This is what it looks like when you are enrolled in share cost. Okay. You're gonna go to your access portal, and you'll sign into your access portal. And if it says under Medicaid status, which is very important, if it says under Medicaid status right here, it's going to give you your date, and it's going to say enrolled. Okay. And then it'll say the type of coverage, and if you have medically needy, you have share cost. Okay. And don't worry about these being two different numbers. It's because you're not seeing the submittals. Okay. So this is your share cost here. This is the amount that you would need to come up month by month. Okay. It's like a deductible, but it's a monthly deductible. Unlike regular insurance where it's yearly, this is a monthly, month-to-month deductible. And a lot of you guys might be saying, well, I have Florida Healthy Kids and or KidCare. Well, if you notice right here, enrolled in medically needy with share cost, account has been transferred to Florida Healthy Kids. Florida Healthy Kids / Federal Marketplace. So yes, but those, I know with Florida Healthy Kids, it doesn't matter if you have Humana or if you have Aetna, they do not cover certain services such as ABA. And that is my main concern, is having the ABA. So when you have ABA in place, or you have a center, this is what you would have to do. And we're going to talk about how we'll go straight to the share cost and how that works, bypassing the subsidiary. Okay, so what is share cost? Again, like I said, it's the medically needy. It's a month-to-month. It is like a deductible. It is determined by your household income. Now, this exact statement is coming from the pamphlet that they give you. And it is, I want to break it down because I just don't think people, sometimes people don't know what the deductibles are. Like you have a yearly deductible. No, this is a monthly deductible. So this is how it's a little bit different. So what is share cost? Well, this is what you guys need to know too. You guys can submit unpaid and paid medical expenses. So I have some medical expenses for him that are self-pay, but that goes towards my share cost because of the fact of they don't accept insurance, but I am showing that I am paying something out of pocket. Okay, so this is why I wanted to bring that up. Again, this is coming from their pamphlet, DCF's pamphlet that they give you for share cost. It's very big, very, very big, but I have gone through and I have done this now, so I'm sharing it with you. To determine that your share cost has been met, okay? So even though they don't take the insurance, they can see that I'm paying out of pocket, and then that goes towards my share cost. If you notice, my share cost is $5,695 monthly. And then you are eligible for Medicaid for the rest of the month, okay? Now, there's two ways to bill share cost. There's two ways. One way is your vendor, such as your doctor's office, ABA clinic, OT facility, or SLP facility, any medical facility that understands and knows how to bill share cost can do so. And if they don't, this video will actually be helpful for them as well, because I'm going to walk through not only for the vendor, not only for the parent, like myself, but also the vendor on how to proceed to do that, because it's not really clear. The pamphlet says a little bit, but I did dig really deep, I mean, lots of phone calls, and got that information, and I am sharing that with you now. Okay, so, and then obviously I didn't have any bullet points, but the parents or the caregivers, because you can submit them, and I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? So again, there's two ways. Now this one is for the vendors. Everything must be included under here. You must have a cover letter. You must have an itemized bill. You must have the case number written on all the pages. And you must have the Medicaid PIN number on all pages. Okay? The cover letters are very important for vendors. You must have your company name as the header. You must have your address on there, phone number, fax number. You must have the case management units and with the region. You must know your region, and you must have it on there in the counties that they serve. Okay. You must have the fax number to DCF, and you must put the patient's name, full name, date of birth, Medicaid ID, PIN number, case number. Okay. This has to be on the cover sheet. Now, I am going to make a blank cover sheet, one for vendor and one, well, I've already made them, but I'm going to include them in this bio below. So you guys can open it, download it, and use it for your, now I don't have all the regions, but I will link the regions in there too. Okay, so because I don't know what region you are, what county, so I will link that below as well, so you guys will have that information. Same thing for the parents. You just don't need a header or but I would include your address that you receive all your statements to from Medicaid, and phone number. Same thing, you need to know the region, you need to have the fax number to DCF, and the same, you need the patient's name, date of birth, Medicaid ID number or /PIN or case number. Now, how to build it, how to actually build it. The vendor or the caregiver, we just went through this process here. So you guys know that. I'm not going to repeat that. It's like a dead horse, but I want the visualization to be there. When, let's say you received your, as parents and vendors, let's say your got your itemized bill, which I'm going to recommend in a minute. Make sure you use Medicaid's new billing codes for the itemized bill. Although it's not going to the regular Medicaid through ACA, I would use those regular regular billing codes. I would definitely use those as like that. Okay. Make sure it's itemized. If there are 12 pages, every page at the top must have this case number and your Medicaid pen. All pages, all pages, all pages. At the top, just write it. Just write case number, put that number, Medicaid pen number, and then put the number right at the top on all pages. I know it's a lot of work, but they require it to be on all. They don't tell you that. They're just going to reject it. And they're not going to give you a reason. Or they'll say not to, they'll use some type of weird lingo like denial for insignificant, I forget how it was worded, but it was because it wasn't on every page. And just the case number and the PIN number needs to be on every page. I'm going to beat that like a dead horse because they will reject it just because of that. Now, they can only be faxed. They can only be faxed to them. These are the fax numbers here. So you guys can pause the video and actually take a look, write those down. These are the fax numbers here. And this is just goes to the department itself. But make sure you know your region. And then once you have faxed them, whether it be the vendor or the caregiver, once you have faxed them, you must if it's a vendor, you have to let the parent or the caregiver know so they can follow up with them, or the parent needs to follow up with them. It can take up to 24 to 48 hours to post, but if you do not follow up with them, it may not be applied to your share cost, or it may not be paid once you have met that share cost. So please follow up. I can't stress that enough on those after that, at least the 48-hour mark. And so then this is the next part that I would definitely, now share cost does not require pre-authorizations, which I was like, what? You know, so I said, so, but we're going to be on the safe side because everything, no matter what we do, we should always be proactive and be ready for a denial and be ready to be able to send back information for that denial or request for a reasoning on the denial. If we have this in our backup plan as, well, you don't require, because in their statute that they passed, they don't require, that doesn't say anything about it. And I had talked to supervisors after supervisors at DCF, and they're like, no. They look at me like a deer in a headlight, like I don't know what you're talking about. So what we're going to do, what I would suggest and what I am doing is I keep the codes. I have the codes here linked. This is public information. I'm going to post this in the comments below so you guys can actually get the links. Make sure that your provider is sending it to you itemized this way with these codes, because it is a form of Medicaid. Okay. So we're just going to use Medicaid law, Medicaid billing structures in order to get Medicaid services through share cost. Although they do not require this, I would highly recommend to make sure you have a backup plan for denials. So that's one. Two, if they need a pre-authorization or they feel like it's an exorbitant amount, because ABA services are very expensive, I have no doubt that I'm going to meet my share cost because they're expensive, and anybody that's in it, no. And so the prior authorization form also is a manual form. I have it here. through EQ Health, I would recommend having that filled out and having that ready in a folder as well, along with the plan of care. So you can fax that to them in case there is a denial. So I would just have that ready to go. And then the next steps, and this is kind of the summary of this. Like I said before, you know, when you have shared costs and kind of like how exorbitant mine is, you see the amount is $5,695. Well, there's programs out there, and there's more that I am working on. So the one is Step Up for Students. You can get this. This is a scholarship. You can get this, and yes, you can apply that towards that your portion of paying of your share cost. So I do have that grant. I'm sorry, that scholarship. And then just make sure your provider is actually contracted to take those funds. So that's one source of to pay for your share costs. And the other one is the safety net program. This is a very this program is, you have to be requested in order to get it. It's through CMS as well. And I can definitely shed some more light on that as well. And then the next process, and the process that we are currently going through to get onto full Medicaid, no matter what your income is. And this is a very, very long process. I've been going through this process for a very long time now. Quite frankly put, is that it's going to bring his disability forefront, and I have to prove certain things, and then you'll be put on the critical need and then put through the wait list faster. But this is all a step process. And then knowing your autism rule in the DX, what the diagnosis that they prefer for the state for this critical need waiver. And I will post that below as well, so you guys have that. Knowing what you need in order to qualify for those expedited services and getting in there. So guys, I really hope you found this helpful today. I know that it's a lot, and as parents, we're on this journey. Again, I'm your autism strategist, and I appreciate your time to listen to this video, and you guys have a wonderful day.